the external position that you give ourselves, that's the ego playing out, the version that everyone wants to see you, is often means it's a reflection of what you're really feeling inside. That's the first thing I would suggest. Second thing, in terms of how it makes you feel, I can say anything like to you. You can choose based on where you rank me in your world of hierarchy, whether that resonates or not. Only you choose how you feel. I don't make you feel anything. It's down to you how you contextualize that and whether you want it to resonate or not. Someone you don't care about at all says something to you about how bad or good you are, you don't care because you don't know who that person is. They mean nothing to you in that instant, so therefore it has no impact. But if someone you really respect says exactly the same thing, that strikes a chord, right?
Welcome to this, another episode of Pints of View with me, your host, Gary Goldsmith, here in the Cavendish Street. And today I'm with McFitty, Sport Billy himself, a recruitment ledge, winner of so many gongs at the RDLC Awards in 2023, a really top bloke. He owns the payroll world. There's a big, better and more formal introduction coming. But first and foremost, Nick Day, welcome to Pints of View.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Good to be here.
Brilliant.
Fit person drinking beer. I'm not quite sure the two go together.
Well, to be fair, if you played rugby, it's all they do. So either way, it works. As with all my mates, I have written you a poem. I love the fact that your wife thought this was half decent.
She did.
Because genuinely, they're pretty shit. So if I get through it in one go, well, how many times, James, have I ever got through one of these in one go?
Not a once.
That's right. And how many are we in now so far?
28.
So I'm going to give it a go. Are you ready? In the world of payroll, Nick Day's, see what I mean?
28. 28 not out.
In the world of payroll, Nick Day's the name. A man of many talents rising to fame. Embracing the future, he paves the way in the world of payroll where his heart does sway. Founding JGA in recruitment's global sphere, helping careers and brands prosper year after year. But shut up! Here we go. No, let's go for it. Cats and boots. Was it boots, cats? But Nick's not. Do you know what? You just ruined that, didn't you?
That's fair.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Nick ruined it.
It was all for my wife. She loved it.
But Nick's not about the business's fray. A triathlete Ironman with races to play. Tough Mudder champion. Apparently I got that wrong. And a challenge he'd meet. In the world of athletics, he's truly elite. A podcaster's voice, a rapper's flair. Nick's talents are many, beyond compare. Yet in his heart, he's a family man, balancing business, fitness, and the family gang. And an inspiration to many, his story unfurls. But Nick's also dashing, he's loved by the girls. So, yeah,
You're going to make me blush.
yeah, no, I'm going to say I just basically threw that in to see what happens at home. So sit back and take a listen to my mate Nick's tale. He's a star that glistens. Word.
Very nice. Very nice. Delivery. Look, they've done this before. 28 times, apparently.
I don't know why I gave myself that task, because actually I am proper dyslexic, and when I write I miss out whole words, and then there's not one bit of comma or grammar in that. So
But people out there who don't know you like my wife thought it was very talented, so there you go.
okay,
One more fan.
But that's what do you mean people don't know me? there's a reason why I didn't get on the jungle. Right, so today there's lots of things to talk about. The payroll piece, an unusual sector to become famous in. It was quite interesting when we did a podcast this morning with Nick Thompson, who is currently running Europe's most successful software brand with 10 billion revenues. He went, Nick Day, what, the payroll guy? And I thought, oh, you bastard, that is brilliant. The Sport Billy stuff, and you are a true elite athlete. And I think it's just because you get to buy bikes that are 001.
But for sure. We'll get to that, I'm sure.
And that is sick. The business stuff and what you're doing, because last year you kind of signed off as a biller, winning 3 awards at the RDLC Roscas.
Scary though, man. Scary signing off. That's all I've ever known. So suddenly, you've been telling me to do it for years, right? Come off the tools, come off the tools.
You'll be better as a business leader.
Yeah, we're getting there.
And interestingly, that you got another career as a professional business coach, and you're driving
Yep.
people and helping people achieve that, with your own little demons in the background. So it'd be interesting to look at that.
For sure.
That duplicity of character. Fucking hell, that was quite clever. And then we talk about your marketing strategies.
Some of them are a bit random, right?
Are you going to do a rap for us?
I love payroll, and payroll loves me. I don't mind liaising with HMRC. There you go.
Oh, literally.
Right here, right now.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Shall I tell you the story about the rap? Maybe
Yeah, go on then. I don't think we can stop now because that was just too good. So give us the rap first. Do you
I don't know if I
remember
can do all of it. I just remember the chorus. I should remember all of it. Right? No, I love payroll. Payroll loves me. I'll leave it there for now. I wrote it a while ago. I probably could do it, but not after 2 beers.
Absolute pussy. Right. So where should we start? Payroll recruitment.
Yeah.
How the fuck and what? Why did? Because
I mean, long story short, I came out of university doing a theatre degree with shed loads of debt.
sorry, a theatre degree.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you do a tree?
I can do it, mate.
Can you do a tree in the wind?
I can do lots of trees in the wind. No, not just one. If you've done a degree in it, you can do 3. That's the difference. That's what separates the degree people to those that are Amtram. 1 tree or 3. I'm telling you.
So this makes suddenly you make way more sense to me.
Also, I did a performance art rather than theatre, which is a whole nother level of weird stuff.
With a whole different level of shaved legs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah. I came up with what, 32 grand's worth of debt, and I thought, right, what am I going to do? I met my wife when I was 21, and her parents, I don't think, were overly impressed with my level of debt. She came out with none, and I was like, well, I'll clear it in a year. Done. I don't know what I was going to do at that point. I think I applied to Foxtons, who didn't take me on, which I was very upset about. I think it's the only interview I didn't get, by the way, was Foxtons, so they missed out, in my opinion. And I went to a recruitment firm, and Chase Milan was at the time, which don't exist anymore. It's another story, but they did payroll recruitment, and that was it. Sold straight in.
Perm?
Temp, actually, believe it or not, because you know I don't like temp. I started a company called Pay Temps, also doesn't exist anymore. Hated it, and ended up doing perm. But the guy that managed me at the time, within the first 12 months of working there, I went up the ranks quite quickly, ended up becoming his boss. He now works for me, brilliant guy. And that was 22 years ago. So just always been in payroll. It's been a brilliant industry for me. And
So how many years before working for other people in the recruitment sector before you pulled the trigger? And
6.
Okay. So you actually did a decent apprenticeship.
Yeah, I did a decent apprenticeship.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at what point during that were you managing people, and what point were you managing a P&L?
I was managing within a year, including the boss that hired me, which is interesting dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah, he now works for me. So
I've done that.
yeah, so that's good. P&L, 2 years? 2 years in?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you actually got a decent grounding,
Yeah.
and you made mistakes on somebody else's dollar.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Which is massively important, because I think some people just say, I started my own business up in 18 months. And I think it's probably got that to run.
Well, I'd argue they made mistakes as well. I could have got them Michael McIntyre as a headline gig at their event before he was famous. I met him in Belushi's bar, saw his little underground gig with him, 7 of us, sat with him in the bar afterwards and went to my MD at the time, you need to get this guy on stage. He's like, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. No one's ever heard of him. So they booked Sandy Tosvig, and within the next 12 months, because you have to book these events way in advance, Michael McIntyre had literally sold out Wembley. And I was like, you could have had this guy. I've got his number on my phone. You could have had him, and you got Sandy Tosvig. There you go.
But to be fair, she's very clever, but I wouldn't.
It wasn't good.
No.
I'll be honest. It wasn't good.
And he does have incredibly good hair.
Some people say I look like Michael McIntyre. Gareth Bale. I get Gareth Bale and I get Michael McIntyre. I don't think either are particularly complimentary, but that's what I get.
I'm going more with Sandy. Right, so you're in recruitment, and then you've taken the plunge. Tell me about the early days.
It's interesting. So early days were
random
tough.
minute. So what year was it? Because that
2008.
matters. Oh, fuck's sake.
So tell me the story.
Literally, so you've walked into the eye of the storm.
I walked into venture capitalists and asked for some cash. Didn't know these guys. They put down some money for me to go into business. Pitched to them. They agreed to the revenue based on my energy, I think, rather than the business plan, which I think was dog shit looking back. But they gave me the investment, and then Lehman Brothers went under 2 months later, and then all the restrictive covenants were sent through, and yeah, it was like no one was recruiting. I'd hired this big wage bill of people, and nothing was happening, and yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
Did you? Are they still part of the business?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Big part of the business.
Yeah. So one of them is my director, one of my directors. And the other guy is the guy that's my manager. He's one of my associate directors. Yeah.
Because actually trying to drag a business kicking and screaming where you're putting all of the effort and love into it and all they're doing is waiting to get paid off, it causes animosity at that level. And there's a lot of businesses today that have taken a few quid from the likes of the evil James Caan and so many wrong uns out there who are just basically pressing people, say, pay me first, and wanting to get a tickle, as opposed to giving businesses a chance to build some momentum, to earn some revenue, to actually pay it off.
Sure.
So it's not raping the coffers every month. It's giving it a chance to pay, but still invest and grow the business. Were they kind of smart with you? Did you put some governance and
just trust and hard work?
Wow.
I mean, literally, it's that simple. I put my head down, worked my ass off to make it work. I think he saw that. It's still my business partner to this day. I mean,
but you're massively and incredibly confident and competent, and you're so investable, which is part of it. But I think some people just trade on, look at my numbers, shut up.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, I think you're prepared to reason with people and be a grown up about it. So when did that change? Did you kind of follow the market, or did you change the market? Were you buying and were you acquiring market share, or were you just early days?
Yeah, early days.
Survival mode.
Pretty much. Certainly at the start with the recession going on and everything else, for sure. And I went in with a business partner who's not part of the business anymore either. I would say the business really took off when he left in 2012. So we're living on beans on toast for the first 4 years, to be honest. He leaves the business for reasons that let's not get into today. I'll be in trouble, but let's say he wasn't particularly a good business partner for me or my investor. But the second he left the business, we went very, very fast and grew very quickly.
Was that because I think this is a really important lesson. Was that because of mental pressures and just angry or just frustrated, or was it basically just someone was just
like early lesson on this, people listening? I should have just done it on my own with one investor maybe, but you don't need a business partner. And he was a lot older than me, a lot more experience in the sector, and I thought I needed that individual who did the accounts and the stuff. I mean, the guy would take 2 weeks off to do the VAT. And if you don't know what VAT is, you'd think that's a complex task until it's now do it. And you go, that's a 1 hour activity. You've got your numbers, it's easy. I didn't know that at the time. My job was sales, head down.
My missus does my VAT was doing some ironing.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like, well, actually, that sounded so sexist. She might be making the bed, but she can rattle that stuff off. Don't laugh that loud.
But I'll say 2012, then we took off. Yeah, I was able to put my stamp on the way that things should be done. And I'm a big believer in excellence in every level standard. So you charge a bit more, but just don't let people down because they come back to you.
Okay, that's really interesting. Bill was just here. You just saw him walk out today. His whole methodology and mantra in life was stack it high, sell it dear, which was a variation on FCMG that we just basically took. How do you do loads of it? Really expensive. And but it was all about demonstrating value.
Yeah.
And build and living off of confidence and competence.
Yeah, look, I thought there was an opportunity in our market just to do things really, really well. I mean, it's probably a dull thing to say, right? And really an obvious thing to say, but...
Well, who were your biggest competitors?
Still the same competitors we got now, but they're a different model. They're very high on temp. They're very high on, as you say, mass volume, email marketing, only service levels, in my opinion, not the levels that ours are. And we thought, well, that's our market. And I don't, we'll get into this with the sporting analogy probably. I don't look at them too often because I'm not really interested in what they do. Sell on what we do really well and forget the competition. I think that's where it differs from sport, because in sport, you're really interested in what the competition's doing. It's about beating them. When it comes to business, however, it's not about beating your competition. It's about being the best you can be. And that's one of the differences between the two.
So why don't just for a change, why don't we just dip into different subjects?
Sure.
Because I think your story is secular and everything leads off each other. Tell us about your sport thing at this point.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you truly are an elite sports person. So I'm going to get this wrong again. So you came third in the world Tough Mudder, and at which point you say it's obstacle course running.
Racing.
over distance.
OCR. Yeah.
OCR.
Obstacle course racing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how would you best describe that, given that they're trying to become an Olympic sport?
It is, and hopefully it will be, right? And it should be ratified this week as an official sport. It's a mass participation event at the moment for those that do it. But look, I'm an elite age group athlete. I want to make that clear. There are some athletes that are way, way better than me.
Yeah, we're all of an age. Okay, then.
So yeah, Canada, 2016, third in the world. That was running up and down the Blue Mountains with 25 kilos on your back, going under barbed wire, on monkey bars and all that stuff.
Hang on, why have you got 25k? Because
It's
did
not-
everyone have the same?
Yeah. You pick up 25 kilos and you run up a ski slope in the mud. It's no grip, sliding down, keep going. Then you go under barbed wire at the top.
Okay, what are you wearing? Are you wearing spikes?
No, trainers. You have like all-terrain shoes, but no spikes that are too dangerous. So yeah, just getting completely
Wouldn't
covered
it
in
be-
mud and scars. And
Wouldn't it be smart just to have spikes to run up, and then you just change your shoes? And
it would also be cheating, Gary. Smart,
Oh,
potentially, but cheating also. So yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, you come out of all these races covered in bruises. I mean, the year before, I went to the World Champs out in America, in Ohio, and didn't do very well because in one of you have like rigs that you go across which hold different handholds. And someone in the lane next to me went for a handhold, missed it, and it's like a solid metal bar. And so as he missed it, smacked metal bar straight into my face, split my nose open, blood everywhere, knocked me off the rig. If you come off the rig, you're out. That's game over. Race done. World Champs all the way to America, mid racing, metal bar in the face. Still finish because you finish, but you get something called bans. If you miss an obstacle, your ban gets cut. So you can finish, but you can't get any official results. So I got knocked off.
I know how you feel. Look, see that bruise?
Look at
this.
It looks very nasty.
I was at a glass blower in Glassblower Street, and I missed the final step, and I ran into one of the handrails. I'm so.
To be honest, it looks like you've just done some cupping.
I'll be honest with you. I finished the pint. So we both got resilience.
There you go.
And that's what teaches you. So why do you so random? Why do you think that sports people do so well in sales careers, and especially recruitment?
I think, well, there's lots of people who do sports. Not everyone does well at sales. I think there are differences. You've got to have hunger. Hunger is like you got to have drive, right? So I just don't want to just do an event. I want to do the best I can physically do in that event. So whether it's Ironman, whether it's obstacle course racing, I want to get as best as I can do. So I think it's the same in recruitment. If I'm selling, I want to be top person, always have done, and always have been, which is very lucky. But drive and hunger.
So you've got Sunil Wickramaratne, who managed and ran Progressive, very, very, very high level hockey player. You had I played football at a very decent level. Lawrence Doe played football for Crystal Palace. We've got Sam Grizovic, whose father was Peter Grizovic from Coventry, goalkeeper, who played now cricket at a very high level. I could go through the list here. There are lots of people.
Our sales force, we've got half of the Worcester that went bust rugby team working for us now. I mean, they make great consultants because they're competitive, but I think hunger's part of it. But it's not just hunger to make sales, it's hunger to be creative, it's hunger to succeed, it's hunger to be innovative, to all those things. Hunger is...
Do you know, I think they're prepared to put in the miles. They understand if you want to box, you're going to have to be doing like 5 o'clock runs every morning to give yourself a half chance. So you understand what you need to put as an input to perform in that short period of time. So a lot of learning.
And it's goal orientated, right?
And goal orientated.
But from a leader's perspective, business for me is more cerebral. So you need more strategic experience to be successful in business. So you can be really good at sport and really good at recruitment. But I think to be a business leader or owner or entrepreneur, you need that cerebral bit, that entrepreneurial bit, which doesn't always come with sport. So I think sport, you can be, it's all about team culture. It's about harnessing inspiration, all those things which are majorly important in business. But we know there's a lot of football managers that they're really good at management. I mean, I don't know, I can give you some names probably, but it doesn't mean they're going to be great business people. And I think that's a little bit more cerebral in the way that you do things.
Okay. So having a plan about a plan.
Yeah. Yeah, but both are very goal orientated. You've got to have a goal, a why, a purpose.
So how did you get into triathletes and running, swimming, cycling? How did that all come about?
So initially I wanted to do London to Paris as a cycle ride, and I just random. I'm a big social person, so I literally went on.
It's quite a tough ride. There's a couple of biggies in that's
I just put it out on the internet when who wants to join me. I didn't realise. On the day it started, my wife was driving the sport vehicles, true story, and people I'd never met just rocked up and they were part of this tour. They paid cash to my account. I did it all at cost. I'd never met any of these people, and 25 people rocked up on day one. And I was like, and these were guys proper lycra'd up, really into their cycling. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do.
I like for it.
None of my maps were to scale. There was no Garmin's at that point at that time.
Did you not have people going out putting the signs on left?
No, it's just me with printed out Google Maps. We got completely lost.
So what happens if they were faster than you or slower than you?
Well, we just had to keep going. I mean, my wife, we almost missed we were getting into hotels like 12 o'clock at night, but it was such a laugh because we got absolutely hammered in the evenings, hit the beers, straight up in the morning, off we go again. It was such a laugh. The following year, nearly everyone wanted to come again. So I was like, well, let's start in the country we finished in and go again. So we did London to Paris year one. We then did Nice to Pisa. We did Venice to Zagreb. We did.
Have you done Paris to Cannes?
I haven't done Paris to Cannes.
It's fucking hard. It gets warmer and warmer and warmer, but gets hillier and hillier and hillier all the way down. And it's one of the toughest runs. It's called the Sunshine Run.
Yeah, we've done a few hills. So we've been all over. We've been to Albania, as far as Albania on the bikes. And the same people have come. Some guys have come every single. We've done it for 10 years. So that started me into the world of cycling, and people just coming along. And obviously, was quite good at it. Did a few triathlons. I'm someone that doesn't like just to do stuff, so I like to learn it. So I then did my qualifications in triathlons. I'm a qualified triathlon coach, and I'm a qualified sports nutritionist because I paid someone 100 quid to give me sports nutrition advice and realised that I could do this myself, so I did my own course. That's kind of who I am. So we had our kids. I can get someone to do the photography of me and my family, or I can pay the same money to learn to be a photographer. So I did the second thing, and I'm a qualified photographer. I've done various weddings, and that's my headspace. And actually, a good example of this, Ibiza. You gave a talk and the whole thing was about, the future of recruitment is all about consulting, professional consulting, management consulting. I left Ibiza and did my level 7 masters in professional consulting. But I don't want to pay someone else to do this. I need the knowledge myself.
Okay, so I'm gonna tag in the next one now. So you're a business and sports coach. But why? How? Because I'm suddenly thinking, I'm very anxious that someone like yourself, I've got alarm bells going off thinking blackbird, magpie, something shiny, want to do that, something shiny, want to do that. And you've still got to finish the day job.
Yeah, I do a bit of that.
You do have limitations on your time, but you're still doing consulting. And the nice thing about consulting is when you work with people, you actually get as much back from it as you give it to them. And each bit of learn, you actually think, oh, okay, well, this Steve over here, that makes more sense to him the way he's put that.
I mean,
need to explain
the consulting thing, if I'm honest, for those that listen to it, unless if you work as a business owner, it's pointless. I found I didn't learn much because I've been doing it for years. It's kind of but I'm doing the coaching side. It's completely different. So I've got a qualified level 7 in mentoring and executive coaching, and that's slightly different. But you're right. I'm a bit of a magpie. I like to do everything. I've got some random qualifications, dude, and things.
Oh no, you got to share.
I mean, I've in terms of things that go leading down a garden path, I've got really into magic for a bit. I've written escape rooms, kid you not, and I've interspersed escape rooms with magic to get out. I mean, I've done some random stuff.
I know a bit of magic.
I've qualified as a diet specialist on top of the sports. I play drums. I've done my grades in drums. I played drums for 20 years in bands and other bits and pieces. I've produced songs, as you know. I mean, I have a bit of a magpie. But you mentioned the times of restrictions. So I'm a big believer that if you want to do something enough, time is never the reason to not to do it. I haven't got the time. That means you're just not motivated enough to do it. If you want to do something, you find the time, 100%.
So how many parts of your life jigsaw have you got a really decent person running? So in terms of your recruitment business, which I'm guessing is still the major breadwinner.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the thing that pays the bills and affords the holidays and kids' education, all that great stuff. Would it be worth having a managing director there, and then you come up with your coaching piece, and then you have a managing director there that generates this stuff, so you can still have an active interest and do the bits you want, and then you could have your own sort of social calendar director, which is probably
I think you've just written my next 12-month business plan, to be fair.
And it's you have all these people, and then you cherry pick the time allotted to do this. So 2/3 of your time and effort is based into cash cow, and the other things are freeing your brain to 100%. Be better at what you do. is that how?
That's kind of the next plan. So I came off the tours in January, as you know,
Yeah.
in billing, which I've done all my life. That was a bit of a shock. I didn't tell anyone in the business.
And what a spectacular year as well, by the way.
Yeah, it was a good year.
It was
a good year.
it was the best of years in recruitment, and you had the best of best years.
I did, yeah.
It
It's
was
my best ever year. It was a song, my best ever billing year.
Yeah, it's like hole in one on just walk off the golf course.
Yeah.
I've now completed golf.
And we just do perm. I was just starting to do contract, but yeah, for perm recruitment, it was a pretty good song year for sure.
That is absolutely fantastic. So what? So genuinely, in the next 12 months, so because 2023 was a tough year compared to the easy days, rocking up and elephants making money in 22, and then suddenly everyone had to become a bit more sales focused. Had you already taken your business on that sort of sales journey and tried to adapt people into becoming more customer orientated, delivering rather than actually selling at them, fixing their problems?
It's a work in progress. Well, we've got 3 directors in the firm now, which have come in as got EMI schemes, so that hopefully they're interested in the success of the business going forward. I've got to find time for the Ironman next year. I've signed up for Copenhagen, so I'm excited by that. You mentioned the bike at the start, so I get to ride a very exciting bike to do that race. So that keeps me motivated on that side. But I've also got to make sure I've got time for my kids and my family and the other bits as well. So yeah, look, I'm just always vision drives decision, right? So I've got loads of vision and I'm head down.
So how does it work with the boss at home? Because
I have a very understanding wife.
Well, to be fair, Julianne does her sweet with me because I'm building new apps and new stuff, and I'm trying to go to America and I'm trying to do stuff. But ultimately, it has to give somewhere.
She keeps me in my lane. So I'll give a good example for her. She'll probably come in for saying this because she always thinks it puts her in a bad light. We were out for the what was it? It was obstacle course World Champs actually. It was the following year, 2017 or 2016, whatever. But a lot of people turned up for the night before, and we'd gone out together. So I'm there for the race. But we go out for a restaurant and with a lot of other GB athletes that are out there. And everyone gets out these Tupperwares of nuts and seeds and stuff like that. And we're there and I've ordered like a steak and a beer and a glass of wine. She said to me, look, your days of being a pro have gone. You're too old. If you ever come out with Tupperware, nuts and seeds, right, you're taking this way too seriously. So you're going to have some wine with me. You're going to have your steak and chips or whatever, and that's fine. And go and do your race and I'll let you do your training. But if you start coming out on our nights out, turn into Tupperware and seeds, like that ain't going to work. So it's about a bit of balance. She'll come out with me to the races, and that's cool, and she'll support me. But we still got to enjoy a glass of wine and a decent meal because that I'm in my 40s. I'm not going to go win this.
I'm just going to take the mic for 30 seconds, right? I know it's not taking the piss out of you; it's taking the piss out of everyone's recruitment staff. If anybody ever came to one of my businesses and they brought in packed lunches from home,
okay,
I would be finding ways to sack them. Because if that's the best you can aspire to, you fucking muggle, I want people to come to work dressed like the Don. It doesn't matter if it's casual, but I want it to be Armani. I want it to be Gucci. I want it to be, I don't know, only a few quid. You don't have to wear a suit, but I want you to be dressed. And I want you to go to the best place for lunch.
It's not challenge that. I don't agree with that. I'll be honest. I'll
don't agree with that?
No, I might drop moment. I wouldn't. I don't.
Hate it.
It's all about personalities, man. I disagree with that. It's like 11 David Beckhams doesn't win you the World Cup, right? Because he's no good in goal. Just because that's what you think makes a good consultant doesn't mean that's what makes a good consultant. It might do. There are loads of it. I mean, you and I love your energy, but we see the world differently. I think that's probably fair. When we first met, you said I was quite defensive, which I thought was really interesting because I love our conversations. Every time we meet, I love it because I can take your energy, and your energy is belief, right? So you'll say to me, Nick, you can do this, and I'll make you X, Y, and Z, right? Now, whether I agree with your way of getting there is up for debate, but the energy tells me that you believe I can do it. So that's the most important.
And I generally do believe
So that's the bit I want to take away from that. Now I've got to find my own path. So if someone brings in a packed lunch, that's fine. As long as they got the energy behind what they need to do, they've got the reason, the rest of it can go. I mean, not everyone's into Gucci. Some people are into horses or triathlon or bikes or whatever.
Horses.
We
actually had a conversation this morning about transsexual horse lovers in a magazine that actually went quite well. So,
forward to that one.
But, we're not going to. We're going to not touch on that. So we've talked about the sport piece, and we've talked about the business piece, but there's a piece in between. So the sport stuff doesn't really happen unless you get someone to sponsor stuff.
Yeah, RDLC were amazing last year. I'll give a little shout out. So you sponsored me. I went out to the Ironman World Championships 70.3. RDLC were amazing. Sponsored me to get me out there. It's an expensive sport. I loved it because you went all the way out there, Nick, and you came like 190th, and that's absolutely fair. But right?
It's like I was expecting third.
Here's the thing, right? So a few bits in that journey, shall we say? So the first thing was in terms of people giving you good advice, bad advice, whatever. So I had a coach I went to say like, I want to go under 10 hours. For me, in an Ironman, that's a decent result. And the guy was like, you got a family, you got a business, it ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna take your money. It will never happen. Like, just finish. And he wouldn't take me on, which I was quite offended by. But actually, that gave me more drive. Actually, he coached me without knowing he coached me and made me money.
But you're obstacle man.
Yeah, but triathlon's very different. It's very, very Ironman in particular. It's a long distance. It's a hell of a undertaking. So I found a coach, got it. I did it in a 9:56, right? But I remember being in the marathon at the end, and the only thing I had in my head was that coach telling me I wasn't going to do it. Like the amount of drive that guy who didn't take me on gave me to get there that's what got me over the line. But that got me also qualification to the World Champs, which I wasn't expecting to happen. So then I came to you guys to get me out because it was out in America, St. George. And look, I was 7th Brit in my age group, which I was quite happy with. I think it was 130th probably overall. The guy was like, I can't believe we spent all that money, and that's all you got to. So yeah, one of the best races for me I've ever had. I loved it.
It's my job to take the piss.
That's fine.
So tell us about your absolute fucking genius at marketing. Rapping.
Well, I knew you were going to bring this up.
We're going to have to do it. The podcast.
Yeah.
And your podcast makes this look like a bag of shit. You got two people who talk 1,000 miles an hour. I generally listen to podcasts on 1.5, and I can't because it's like.
I don't know which one. I've got 3 shows. I don't know which one you're listening to.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go through your brand strategy.
Sure.
And why are you doing so much? How are you doing so much? And how it actually comes about.
So while the Payroll podcast is what the podcast is, no one was doing it, right? It was just there speaking to leaders. It's just a great marketing tool because you're going to get people that are in your niche, in your space at a senior level, come on the show, we'll brand you for free. You build a rapport, you build a relationship. It's a debt deficit from them because you've done it all for nothing. Business then tends to follow. So it's been an amazing thing for us.
It's also a great thing that you can actually go and speak to people and invite 100%. Them on the show.
Yeah.
So actually having it's a concession of obligation. You give.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I launched that. The success of the Payroll one meant I launched the HR L&D podcast. So that's for HR professionals,
right? Which
madly has a massive following in the US. So I've had people like Stephen Covey on the show, it's a big name. I've had Alan Stein, who was LeBron James' coach.
Covey? What, 7 Habits?
Yeah, Junior. So I had his son on the show.
But
he did do Trust and Inspire, right? It sold 3 million copies. I mean, it's not doing too bad. His son's done all right as well. Yeah. I think his dad's not even with us anymore, is he? I don't know. His son's been on the show twice.
Are you with us, Steve?
Come join. Yeah. So his son's been on the show twice. It's got a good following. And then I've had an off-school podcast, which doesn't exist anymore. I think we realised that had run its path when the final episode was us literally getting drunk on wine, recording an episode about veganism whilst lying on an animal, skin. And we've probably taken it too far. It's still out there, by the way, if you want to listen to it.
What's it called?
It was called OCR Disrupt. It had a really big following, but I think don't do podcasts when you've had too much alcohol, and talking about such contentious issues might be good advice for you guys to take this forward. So that was the last episode we ever recorded. And I've got a new show now called Mindful Paths, which is me and my friend, a bit like this.
That's the one.
Mindfulness coaching.
That's the one that's stuck at a zillion miles an hour. And what's the ultimate goal for that?
So to be honest, it's giving back. Male mental health, wellness, well-being. It's way more in the public light now. It links to. I'm a big fan of transformative coaching, which is what I like to do as an aside. He's a health and wellness expert, and we just talk about stuff. We don't agree on a lot of stuff, which is quite nice. He lives his life very differently to me, and we just chat.
I'm on a webinar tomorrow with Hapstar, and I've got 3 business professionals who are all about health, well-being, wellness, and me saying it's not my fault. Right, if someone comes to work and they're depressed, it's just one of the moving dials. So it could be their wife's left them, their dog's run away, their mum's left them. Right, there's all these different things that they're in drama moving the house, but generally people fixate on it's work that's the reason why they're not happy.
Everyone suffered trauma, and there's trauma with a big T and trauma with a small T. Everyone has suffered.
Do you still want me to swerve this topic?
It's your call, man. But we talked at the start of this about body language, and I said no one can make you feel anything. And you challenged me on that with your response.
Well, I will, because I read 2 books, but I'm going to say I actually read 3. So I read 1 Minute Salesperson,
Yeah.
because I love that. Before I did anything, I read George Davis, which was What Next, which is the story about Next, which I still think that guy is an absolute phenomenal human being in the UK. 3 retail brands that were all, £1 billion businesses, and the last one was a body language book, and it meant something to me.
Great.
And because I could read people in the room so much better, and I called them out on stuff, and by calling people out on the things they're physically doing, changed their dynamic and made people who are overly confident cower down. So the things that people just trying to have a work mask and pretend they're bigger than they are,
I mean, often
I called them out.
Often, though, I would argue that when you're really the external position that you give ourselves, that's the ego playing out, the version that everyone wants to see you, is often means it's a reflection of what you're really feeling inside. That's the first thing I would suggest. Second thing, in terms of how it makes you feel, I can say anything like to you. You can choose based on where you rank me in your world of hierarchy, whether that resonates or not. If I said something, your mum said something, and Dean said something, we could all say exactly the same thing. Each one will make you feel different. And that's proof that it's only you choose how you feel. I don't make you feel anything. It's down to you how you contextualize that and whether you want it to resonate or not. Someone you don't care about at all says something to you about how bad or good you are, you don't care because you don't know who that person is. They mean nothing to you in that instance. So therefore it has no impact. But if someone you really respect says exactly the same thing, that strikes a chord, right?
Yeah. But it's one of those things that I'm so self-confident and so self-assured. It takes a lot for somebody to actually impact me because I get loads of shit all the time. So if you live in that world of, you got to take it if you give it.
That's fair. You've got big walls.
I've got big walls.
Big walls. And it doesn't mean you haven't got a subconscious underneath it all that's
I
running around.
No, I don't really do that. But I never sleep. but,
you and me both.
Yeah, so it's you can't sleep. It's like my head is always going. How do you make yourself sleep? What do you do? How do you actually manage all of these moving parts?
I mean, I've been an insomniac for 2 decades, generally medicated level of insomnia. I'm in control of it at the moment. I haven't got the medication I need it. If I've got it, I don't need it. It's one of those psychological things. But I don't mind it. I think it's a good thing, not a bad thing, because it allows me to achieve more. If I want to do something, I can get up at whatever it is and just get it done. If I want to do an Ironman, which involves a lot of training, I'll get up at whatever time it needs to get that bit done because it's important to me.
What's your favourite time of the day?
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know, man. I don't know. Depends what's going on. Depends what day it is.
Literally, if I'm up before everybody else in the world and I'm either out doing something or I'm writing, I keep all the lights low, a little light. It's like I'm doing stuff in secret and I feel like I'm winning. It's just like, or if I'm going for, that's random, isn't it? I got up at 6 o'clock the other day to try and get 20,000 steps in before 9 o'clock, which I rattled off. And then the rest of the day, I did another 12,000 and I couldn't walk the next day. Right. It would have been smarter to do 18,000 over 2 days, but I just felt like I was winning.
Yeah, nice.
And the buzz it gave me, I don't think sport has ever given me an endorphin in my life. I just resent the fact I'm doing it, and at the end of it, I'm just happy that I finished it. And generally, I thought I was a dick for capitulating. But I like playing tennis, and if I like playing tennis, then I've enjoyed playing tennis. I don't think I've got an endorphin.
Yeah,
I think that's all fucking mystic and bullshit. And people say,
I mean, it's definitely not, by the way. It's definitely not.
Are you sure?
No, maybe you have to push yourself a little bit harder. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, the endorphin, you have to work harder for it. I'd say that. I mean, that's probably why I'm doing bigger and bigger distances, because it's like, yeah, I've done that race, 10K race, yeah. For some, that's a big thing, right?
So tell me what an endorphin feels like, because it's just like, I mean,
when you've been racing for nearly 10 hours and you finish the race, it's probably a bit of relief as well. But it's pretty high. It's pretty high.
Okay, well, I've never felt that in my absolute entire life, but I have been to the comedy club and laughed my socks off, and for 3 days I'll still be laughing about what happened there, and because I think laughing gives you better joy than doing.
Let me tell you something. This is true. Someone said to me the other day, and it's made me feel really depressed about this. So someone said to me, so I'm working from home now.
No. Somebody says something. You choose.
You're absolutely right? Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. That's fair. So this resonated. Right. They're absolutely right. I'm fair play for calling it out. But so I work from home now 3 weeks of the month because I live in Devon. My office is in Harpenden. I moved away. And someone said to me, I can't work from home, Nick. And I was like, why? Because you never laugh. When you're on your own, you never laugh. And I went, oh my God, you're absolutely right. I've got no one to... Well, you think of all the benefits, right? And then suddenly it dawned on me that I sit for 8 hours a day, I don't laugh. It's really depressing. I'll leave you that thought.
I laugh all day long.
But you don't work from home on your own.
Now, I do. Well, funny enough, if you've seen the interview that Lula did with me, she says you hate the whole concept of work from home. Hate it. I actually think it's evil, because as humans, we're supposed to be a collective. We're supposed to be a pack. And you hate working from home. Yet you do. But I've got to say, every day I piss myself laughing. But I'll just think of something and I'll phone people up and just tell them a joke, or something that happened to me, or I'll Google jokes, or I just do random shit.
I do get you around some Insta reels.
Right, but I just like, oh, go find something funny. And then I do laugh. And I also, I love watching films, because when they make those, what's it called? When someone's got their tie over their left shoulder and it's over their right shoulder.
Oh, no idea.
When somebody hasn't actually make sure that they've left the continuancies, or the
you've lost me.
Continuity. So the continuity, that would do me. I could literally watch a film just spotting continuity issues, and I love that, and that would cheer me up all day. Just
whatever works for you, Guy. Whatever works for you.
Do you know what the thing is? I think all of my mates...
I wish I just admitted that.
Yeah. All of my mates are slightly random, but I think I might be the most randomest.
I think you just thought out loud.
That is good. What's the plan for the business going forward? Because you've got all of these things going on, and one of the things that I'm a massive advocate of, especially at the moment, and especially for 2024, if people are running businesses, being so focused on one thing, I think they're not taking enough information from outside areas, which is not expanding them. And two, their business isn't growing fast enough, and they end up just getting into a malaise of shit, but it's not bad, right? As opposed to everybody having at least one or two side hustles that they're absolutely dedicating and finding time for. I think it makes them better people. Creates energy, creates time. It means that at the time they are working on their business, it creates impact.
I've always got side hustles. I mean, I'm probably the least money motivated CEO in the recruitment industry that you've probably got in your community. Like it drives me for sure, but it doesn't drive me, I think, like it necessarily drives perhaps others.
Could you not monetize some of these things that you're doing?
Yeah, some of them have monetized. I could monetize them more for sure. And maybe that's a weakness, but it doesn't always drive my decisions. So as I say, vision drives decisions. So my vision isn't orientated necessarily around financial success, because I think financial it's a bit of you can have lots of stuff and that's fine. And this you'll probably laugh me out of town here, but the reality is what I get out of my business is watching the team, a bit like the sport analogy, right? Watching the team grow, watching them get their first house, watching them support their kids, getting them to private school, whatever it is they want to do. I get massive fulfillment out of that. As long as I'm able to do the same things, of course, and get a little bit ahead of the station, that's cool. But that drives it. And I always want to be innovating.
I heard something today. So if you mix the vision with a mission, you get missions. And that was quite good today. I really just got my rocks on just having a mission and a vision.
So my side hustle at the minute is executive coaching, transformation coaching, things like that. So I'm trying to mix that into our recruitment landscape at the minute. So we're not just giving recruitment services as part of the talent sphere. We're building it all together as a talent solution. What else can we do? Because that makes clients sticky.
And so this is clever. So the customer community here is your customer.
Yeah.
And these are payroll managers who are typically working for enterprise level businesses.
Yeah. Or HR managers, because we do HR recruitment as well. So putting them in and going, they want to upskill their leadership team, across the board. Great. Well, we can potentially deliver that consultative work. If we deliver that, they're going to want to work for you with recruitment. But also, if you deliver good service, they're probably going to have you upskilling and making culture transformation in other areas of the business, right? So it makes a sticky client. And then if you deliver one thing, and then they can become a one-to-one client as an executive coaching client. Well, if you're doing that with a CEO or a CPO, you build that kind of level of relationship. That client is proper sticky. So
do you think there's I'm going to literally just show my colours here. I'm not a really big fan of HR or HRDs. Mm-hmm. And I think the problem is because they haven't got a future. Do you know, it's you get to an HR manager or an HRD, where'd you go from that? So I think people get bored, bittered and twisted, and that's why HR becomes a little bit of an anchor in a business. It doesn't facilitate stuff, as opposed to really good HRDs who should be driving the business on to pushing it, to expand upon it.
I think you just summed up.
And I just think I've just got stuck in that rut.
I think you've summed up every career, though, right? You've got the recruiters that are just a bit like, and you've got the real drivers. It's same in HR, right? So if you're a client, no matter it is, FTSE, whatever, you don't hire, the job descriptions doesn't mean anything. What they need is they either need to improve their DEI, they need to improve their inclusivity, they need to make redundancies and manage it through. There's an organisational transformation, whatever it is. That's the real job spec that no one's going to put out there in public because no one wants to admit they've got a DEI problem. So the person coming in is going to deliver one of the hardest projects they've ever got to deliver in any business. And they've got to be the fall guy for that. They're the real drivers of HR change. You need those people to be able to deliver that. You've also got the people that just don't drive. But you have that in every industry, right? That just take the wages and get by and do the basics.
It was quite interesting today. So I spoke to a CCO of Europe's largest software business. And he was saying, if he had people that were over 60, more people over 60, his customer service and customer loyalty would go through the roof because these people bring a different dynamic. But the issue is when people actually looking at those people, they don't tick enough boxes to get into the room. But if he were to see them, he'd hire them. But their processes, and they're trying to change their internal processes. He said the biggest blocker are recruiters because they can't write an advert that's open enough to attract people who haven't got the right skill set but have got the right experience.
If you're writing an advert to attract your talent, you're probably not at the right level of recruitment.
Now, there we go, and which is exactly what I said. That you should know where these people are, and you should be farming them within your own CRM and nurturing those people. But people are too willing these days because your talent acquisition team says you need these skills at this level of experience. And I know I've got somebody who's got half the experience and the 3/4 of the skills, but he's fucking brilliant. And they need that person, but they won't even accept it. And we've got to get this whole recruitment thing joined up. And that's the piece that's absolutely missing these days.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, talent teams, I would argue, are the biggest problem we've got out there because they're jack of all trades. They got a tough job, but they're master of nothing. So I specialise in particular industries. You did the same. You can't be a specialist in everywhere. The tick box exercise. If it's not on LinkedIn, it doesn't exist. That's not.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That's a whole podcast in itself.
Do you know, I just literally, talent acquisition, God bless them, but for 10 grand you can have them waxed. Right, boss, it's the plane. But that's only for a certain age group. Let's go to the island. Do you not remember Fantasy Island? Boss, it's the plane. Fuck me, I am so old.
That is actually your best impression that I've heard in 28
it's the plane.
You're making me feel young, which is nice.
Well, you're a very handsome man, mate.
I'll take it.
Brilliant. Okay, so this is my shoehorn from a desert island, but the idea is a quick fire round so that people get to know more about you. I've got to say, you're a very eclectic soul, and there's so many different pieces in here. This is one of those podcasters that people are going to listen to over and over again and probably then take notes on the fourth time. Fast rounds. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Don't cheat. One wish.
Spurs win the league. In the next 10 years.
How many times have we fucking
That's
had
about
that?
4 out of 28 people. That's a high percentage of Spurs.
Yeedles. Absolutely, yeah. I'm going with it never happened. And great result of the weekend for a pair of us, Chelsea. One prediction.
Spurs win the league in the next 10 years.
Oh, fuck off. Best moment you've ever had and can't say getting married and kids.
Spurs win the league.
It's definitely my daughter being born. There's no question. I'll tell you what, just for RDLC, finishing at the World Champs in 130th place, but 7th Brit last year. There you go.
Money well spent.
Shout out just for you, Gary.
Do you know, those stickers must have been incredibly heavy. Right, one do-over.
Is this something that I would change?
Yeah.
Definitely, I got my head kicked in when I was 18 years old, ended up going to court. 2 best friends of my life changed their lives, changed mine. I would change that situation. There you go.
They beat you up?
Oh, yeah. Black and blue, broken cheekbones, eye sockets, the whole lot.
Oh,
did them for GBH.
You did them?
Yeah.
Did they deserve
Every
it?
single... So I was interested, it goes back to, without being quick, you say I'm defensive. That's probably where it comes from.
Did they deserve it?
Did we deserve it?
Oh, so all of you got beaten up?
There was 3 of us and 9 of them. Yeah. We, luckily, it was also on CCTV. It would have turned
So
out.
what do you mean? So what was the do-over?
Well, I would.
You've gone the other way.
I'd have gone the other. That's it. I wouldn't have gone to that car park at that time of night. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There you go.
One guilty pleasure.
Easy maths. Married at First Sight. I hate reality TV. My wife got me watching it. I'm on like the 6th series of the stuff. I can't stop watching it.
Maths.
Married at First Sight.
Oh.
And for someone who hates reality TV.
Sorry, I just thought you were being a bit cockney. Maths, innit?
No.
I just thought the pi to 3.142.
Seriously, I feel bad admitting that, but I'm a bit of an addict.
UK or Australia version?
Both.
Oh, okay.
I prefer Australia, to be fair.
Of course you do. Standard. You're a class act.
There you go.
I didn't see that coming. One person you wish you could have or would like to meet?
2 answers to this. First is Chrissy Wellington, which you won't know who that is, but that's an Ironman athlete. She never lost a race, starts an amateur, won everything. Female athlete, absolute phenomenon. Go read her book. She's amazing. But also, without sounding a bit weird, I would love to have met my mum as a teenager. We haven't got there, but she lived on the streets. She was thrown out. She has a hell of a story, and I would love to have met her at that age of her life and just seen her.
Have you had your mum on a podcast?
I haven't. I should. Here's a little fact for you while I've got you. In 2019, she knocked Baby Shark off the top of the album charts with her song. 15 million views. Say hello to the sun. There you go.
So where you could get it from?
Little plug.
That's See what I mean? How eclectic is this one? Random, innit? Rando. One food stuff that you have to eat for the rest of your life.
Easy Italian. Pasta. Done.
Brilliant. One luxury item you can't live without. Can't say phone, iPad, or anything.
Either my Garmin watch or my Watt bike. I know it's very sad and very boring, but probably my Watt bike. I'm on it. I've been on it today. I'm on it every day.
Okay. What's your new bike you're getting?
I'm getting a new bike. So Reap, I have to mention a little plug for them. I'm getting frame set 001. First one. It's in the molds at the moment. It's been built for me in Newcastle.
Are you going to get that Lambo green?
Oh no, I'm going black and gold. They've got my own paint job. So it'd be the only other paint job.
So you're getting your bike done is at Black and Goldsmith?
Black and Goldsmith.
Believe it. One mantra.
Life's about stories.
Oh, yes. Okay, you don't do trips away, you build memories.
That's it. When you die,
100%.
that's all you got on a deathbed, right?
And a book you need to read.
Mud, Sweat and Tears by Bear Grylls. Changed my life. I was in a bad point in my life, mental health wise. Read that, changed everything.
Okay, we're going at pace here.
There you go.
So that again, I'm not sure I'm a big Bear Grylls fan.
I don't think you need to be, but we're talking about big T, small T trauma. Luckily, we've run out of time to talk about that. Moment in my life, I read that book, and he was the first person that inspired me to do my first Ironman, which was Switzerland in 2012. And my journey on Ironman's been there ever since. And I met him, and he gave me some good advice when I was having a tough time.
Were you in the Scouts at the time? Because
No.
he's big into the Scouts.
No.
Okay, dib. What's 18-year-old self?
They're clearing up around us.
Okay, that's
Kicking
all right.
out time at the pub.
Yeah, okay.
Never got kicked out before. This is great.
Well, I've been kicked out of many of them. You're 18-year-olds. It's Friday night. What would you be doing?
What would I be doing? What was I doing? What would I be doing now?
No.
What was I doing?
What were you doing?
I mean, drinking, gambling, playing football, all the things 18-year-olds do.
Where were you?
Salisbury.
Gambling.
Yeah, I do love a casino.
Oh, it's like
Actually, 18.
Who can knock out this cow? I mean, that's big in Salisbury.
I think we were
isn't it?
drinking the bar dry at my student union probably, actually, when I was 18.
Okay, where'd you go to uni?
I went to Plymouth, but we studied in Exmouth, which is where I now live.
Can I just say, that's really hard to go into uni in Plymouth because you got all of the...
But we were based in Exeter and Exmouth. We had a little small campus, 80% female. It was...
Okay, not all the Say the Boys,
Nah.
because that's naughty. Because it was at the car park where you got absolutely smashed up.
No, that was before that time.
Okay,
There you
that's
go.
a very dodgy place to go. What a piece of advice would you give to the 18-year-old yourself if you could?
Life is not about... Let's go back to a little bit of a quote, which I like. So I live by this mantra. And I feel I'd known that then, it would have changed what I know now. So it's not about waiting for the storms to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. And I think I took things way too personally at that time, and I got angry about it and defensive about it. And now it's like, change your perspective, change the context, and just dance in it. Enjoy it. Life's a journey, not a destiny. That's the whole thing.
A lot of people have just said, chill out, it's going to be all right, pace yourself.
No, you want to dance. I don't want to chill, I want to dance. I've got some energy, man. Let's dance, let's have a party.
Right. And this is just before we wrap up. It's our members, our guest choice. So guest choice. So you want to play, which I'm kind of nervous about, 2 truths and a lie. Mm-hmm. Let's play 2 truths and a lie. Go. Truth number 1.
I once performed naked at the Tate Modern in front of hundreds of people.
Truth number 2.
Sting came to my house, and in my garden, I played the drums while he sang Roxanne.
This is hard, isn't it? Truth number 3.
I introduced a Tour de France winner to the app Strava, which is important because if it's not on Strava, it never happened.
I don't think Sting turned up at yours. No, this.
I don't think Strava. Everyone knows about Strava. He
Yeah.
plays the drums. He told us earlier.
Yeah,
He's breadcrumbed us.
yeah. Fuck off Strava.
You're incorrect.
I told you, no one knows about Strava. Idiot Goldsmith.
Which one?
I cycled with Geraint Thomas and introduced him to Strava. I
Right.
don't think he's on it anymore, but I did at the time.
Right.
Sting was the lie. He has been to my house. His kids went to my mum's nursery school, which was in my house. And I do play the drums, but I've never played Roxanne with him. I have performed naked in the Tate Modern, though,
What was that all about?
doing my masters in theatre and performance.
What were you called? Wobbly Willy or something?
Literally, people had to come and write what they thought about the Iraq War on my body. This is true. For about 2 hours. It's an installation piece.
It's small now, but it gets bigger.
There you go. I've done some weird shit, that's true.
Mate, you've been an absolutely joyful guest. No one could have seen any of that happening. It's been wicked, wicked, wicked. We always give our guests the opportunity to have the famous last words. How would you like to sign off, sir?
I would say life is about the journey, not the destination. I'll give a little concept as to how this works, right? If you and I climb Everest, you can fly to the top and I'm climbing. The view when we both get to the same point is not the same. The view is way better if you've taken and gone through all the toils and the stresses of climbing to get there at the top. So it's a journey, not a destination. Just enjoy it. And thank you, Gary. Saying that, I imagine you'd probably rather get the helicopter, right?
Fuck that. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
100%. He's not even going to fucking Everest.
Yeah, I
He's
know,
just
yeah.
getting photoshopped.
Yeah, it's Nick Day, thank you very much. Jamesy, thank you very much. Thank you very much for waiting for us. I've been Gary Goldsmith. Peace and love. See you soon.